What if everything you thought you knew about weed was only a fragment of a much larger, murkier truth? A single plant, cannabis, marijuana, weed, has been humanity's companion for millennia, yet it remains one of the most polarizing substances on Earth. Revered as medicine, vilified as a vice, banned, celebrated, and now increasingly embraced, it sparks passion, fear, and endless debate. Why does this green herb hold such power over our minds, laws, and cultures? Let's unravel the enigma and challenge what you think you know. Cannabis's story begins in the mists of history. Ancient Chinese texts from 2700 BCE, like the Shenong Benkojing, listed as a remedy for pain, insomnia, and even female weakness. In India, it was woven into spiritual life. Sacred texts like the Atharva Veda called it one of the 5 sacred plants, used in rituals to commune with the divine. Egyptian papyri from 1550 BCE mentioned cannabis for treating inflammation. Scythian nomads burned it in funeral rites, as Herodotus noted in 450 BCE, describing warriors inhaling the smoke to mourn their dead. From Mesopotamia to Mesoamerica, cannabis was medicine, sacrament, and muse. So how did this ancient ally become a modern outcast? The 20th century flipped the script. In the 1930s, America launched a war on weed, fueled by fear and propaganda. Films like Reefer Madness painted cannabis as a gateway to insanity, crime, and moral decay. But was this rooted in science or something darker? Historians point to Harry Anslinger, head of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, who tied weed to racial stereotypes, claiming it drove minorities to violence. Some argue the ban was economic. Cannabis's cousin, hemp, a powerhouse for paper, textiles, and rope, threatened timber and cotton industries. DuPont's new nylon patents didn't help hemp's case. Was prohibition about public safety or protecting profits? The question lingers. By 1970, the U.S. classified cannabis as a Schedule I drug alongside heroin, deemed to have no medical value and high abuse potential. Yet the science was thin and the politics were thick. The Nixon administration's war on drugs ramped up enforcement, targeting counterculture movements and communities of color. Fast forward to today, and the landscape is shifting. Over half of U.S. states have legalized weed for medical or recreational use. Canada went all in 2018, Uruguay in 2013, and parts of Europe are following suit. Legalization is a global wave, but what's driving it? Science catching up? Cultural rebellion? Or the lure of green gold? Let's dive into the science. Cannabis contains over 100 cannabinoids, chemical compounds that interact with our body's endocannabinoid system, a network regulating mood, pain, appetite, and more. THC, the psychoactive star, delivers the high mimicking anandamide, our brain's bliss molecule. CBD, non-psychoactive, is the darling of wellness, showing promise for epilepsy, anxiety, and inflammation. Studies like those from the National Academy of Sciences in 2017 suggest cannabis can ease chronic pain, reduce chemotherapy-induced nausea, and even help with multiple sclerosis spasticity. For epilepsy, CBD-based drugs like Epidiolex have been game changers, slashing seizures in kids with rare conditions like Dravet syndrome. But it's not all rosy. Research is a patchwork, stunted by decades of prohibition. The U.S. government still restricts most studies to low-quality cannabis, far from what's sold in dispensaries. And the risks? They're real. THC can impair short-term memory, especially in developing brains. A 2019 study in The Lancet linked high-potency cannabis to increased psychosis risk in some users, though the data is not conclusive. Heavy use can lead to dependency. About 9% of users develop cannabis use disorder per the CDC. Teens are particularly vulnerable. Regular use before 18 may alter brain development, impacting attention and impulse control. Edibles, with their delayed, unpredictable effects, send thousands to ERs yearly for overdoses. Think panic attacks, not fatalities. Weed's not heroin, but it's not harmless. Consider the human stories. Sarah, a 35-year-old veteran, struggled with PTSD after 2 tours in Afghanistan. Opiates left her numb. Cannabis gave her calm, letting her sleep without nightmares. John, a 12-year-old with epilepsy, went from 50 seizures a day to a handful a month with CBD oil. These aren't outliers. Clinics report thousands of patients finding relief where pharmaceuticals failed. Yet for every Sarah, there's a cautionary tale. Mark, a college student, started smoking daily to unwind. By 20, he was skipping classes, anxious and dependent. The line between medicine and menace is thin, and it's personal. Legalization's rise is a tangle of motives. Freedom's part of it. Why should the state control what you put in your body? Justice, too. The war on drugs disproportionately hit Black and Latino communities. In 2020, the ACLU found Black people were 3.64 times more likely to be arrested for possession than white people, despite similar usage rates. Legalization promises reform, but disparities persist. Then there's money. The legal cannabis industry hit $20 billion in U.S. sales in 2024, with states like Colorado raking in $400 million annually in taxes. But the black market thrives, undercutting legal prices. Is legalization about liberation or just a new revenue stream? Hemp deserves its own spotlight. Non-psychoactive, it's a sustainability superstar. Hemp fibers make durable clothing, paper, and bioplastics. Its seeds pack protein and omega-3s. It grows fast, needs little water, and sequesters carbon. Yet it's still a niche player. Why? Big industries, timber, cotton, oil, don't love competition. The 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp in the US, but regulatory hurdles and stigma slow its rise. Could hemp reshape our economy, or is it doomed to stay on the sidelines? Globally, cannabis is a kaleidoscope of contradictions. Canada's legal market is a model of regulation, with sleek dispensaries and strict quality controls. Jamaica embraces it as cultural heritage, tied to Rastafarian spirituality. In contrast, Singapore and Indonesia enforce draconian penalties. Possession can mean life in prison or execution. Even in legal countries, rules vary wildly. Germany allows medical use but treads cautiously on recreational. Uruguay's state-run model prioritizes public health over profit. Why such disparity? Is it religion, history, or power dynamics? The world can't agree on what weed is. Culturally, weed's shedding its stoner stereotype. It's no longer just tie-dye and Grateful Dead posters. Silicon Valley CEOs microdose for creativity. Wellness influencers hawk CBD smoothies. Luxury brands sell $100 pre-rolls and cannabis-infused skincare. There's even cannabis wine in California, blending THC with Cabernet for a legal buzz. But is this mainstreaming a betrayal of weed's rebellious roots? The counterculture that fought for legalization now watches corporations like Canopy Growth and Altria muscle in. Will the soul of cannabis, its DIY growers, its activist heart, survive the corporate takeover? The future is a haze of possibilities. Synthetic cannabinoids, like those in drugs like Marinol, could offer precise dosing without the plant. Genetic engineering might yield strains tailored for specific ailments. Think CBD heavy buds for anxiety, or THC-free hemp for textiles. But big pharma's circling, patenting cannabis-derived drugs, while small growers struggle. Will weed become as normalized as coffee, sold at every corner store? Or will overregulation and corporate greed stifle its potential? The deeper you dig, the messier it gets. Weed can heal. Think cancer patients finding appetite or veterans escaping trauma. But it can harm. Think teens risking cognitive issues or drivers impaired on the road. It liberates, giving users autonomy over their bodies, but it traps, with addiction rates climbing among daily users. It's a plant, yet it's a lightning rod for society's fears and hopes. Is it a gateway to harder drugs, as prohibitionists claim? Data says no. Most users don't graduate to cocaine or heroin. Or is it a gateway to freedom, a symbol of resistance against overreach? The real question isn't about weed itself. It's about us. What do we value, control or choice? Safety or exploration? Science or stigma? Cannabis forces us to confront these tensions. Its history is a mirror of our biases. Its science, a test of our curiosity. Its future, a gamble on our priorities. The green enigma doesn't hold the answers. You do. So, where do you stand? Is weed a medicine, a menace, or something in between? Dig deeper. Challenge the narratives. The truth is out there,